And in that play in the first half, it's a 4th and long 1 situation. You have your backup quarterback in the game started in Jarrett Stidham. Your offense running the football has been horrible, to say the least. And if you're going to go for it there, Pat P, you got to have a great call.
Yeah.
You got to have a call that you believe.
The AFC Championship wasn't just a football game. It was a cold-blooded survival test that punched the Denver Broncos right in the mouth as a blizzard swallowed the entire stadium. The snow turned the field into a skating rink, the wind shredded passing lanes, and every possession looked like a fight against nature itself. As sources claim, the temperature dropped into single digits before kickoff, and the wind chills made it feel like playing in an ice bucket, creating one of the harshest playoff environments of the last decade. And in the middle of that chaos stood Jarrett Stidham, thrown into the biggest moment of his career with expectations that were never going to be easy to meet.
He did. Yeah, we talked in the locker room, as soon as I came in, and had a good little combo. I'll keep that private. But he was supportive all week, and I mean, he's an incredible human, incredible teammate, and very lucky to have him here.
The Broncos came into the game already banged up, missing key offensive pieces that had carried them earlier in the season. The offense felt slower, less explosive, and way more predictable without Bo Nix on the field, and that absence hit even harder when the weather wiped out Denver's speed advantage. As sources claim, coaches had to throw out half their game plan after the first quarter because the blizzard made deep shots impossible and turned the matchup into a street fight at the line of scrimmage. That shift favored New England because Mike Vrabel coached his squad like they were built for the apocalypse, leaning on defensive pressure and smash-mouth running in conditions that made throwing a nightmare.
Like I said, I mean, I was dealing with it, Drake was dealing with it, and it is what it is, so you can't really make an excuse for it.
The Denver Broncos lost this game because Mother Nature actually turned on the home team. It actually turned into home field disadvantage because I don't think Sean Payton saw a blizzard coming.
What shocked the league was how calm Drake May looked on the opposite sideline. The blizzard didn't slow him down the way it crippled Denver's offense, and his mobility created first downs out of plays that should have been dead on arrival. As sources claim, New England coaches had installed multiple blizzard packages for May, rollout plays, quarterback sweeps, and short timing throws designed specifically for the storm, something Denver didn't anticipate. Every time May escaped pressure, the Broncos defense looked more frustrated, slipping on the snow while trying to chase him down, and that mobility difference became one of the biggest storylines of the night.
It was a hard-fought game, and we didn't do enough to win it.
I mean, anytime there's conditions, there's, certainly, but like I said, I mean, I was dealing with it, Drake was dealing with it, and it is what it is, so you can't really make an excuse for it.
But the real chaos didn't hit until the end of the game, when Denver had a chance to steal the momentum and go for the kill on 4th and 3 inside the red zone. Instead of trusting the offense, Sean Payton chose the safe route, a field goal attempt in the middle of a snowstorm where kickers were missing warm-ups and footing was unstable. As sources claim, several Broncos veterans looked confused walking off the field because the energy on the sideline suggested the players wanted to go for it. The kick sailed wide, the stadium went silent, and the momentum snapped like a frozen branch. That moment became the turning point fans refused to stop arguing about. When the final whistle blew and Denver took a 10-7 loss, the blizzard didn't just freeze the scoreboard, it froze every dream in the city.
I think for the Denver Broncos, just utilizing the athleticism that Jarrett Stidham had, because that was the deciding factor for the Patriots in winning this ball game. Because when you look at the game and look at the box score, Drake May didn't blow you away with his passing arsenal. But what he did was he became a difference maker in the running game.
The shock wasn't just because of the loss, but how it happened and how it exposed cracks in the team at the worst possible moment. The post-game press conference hit the NFL world harder than the blizzard itself. Jarrett Stidham walked into that room, sat down, and delivered one of the most shockingly calm statements any quarterback has made after a championship loss. And the internet erupted instantly. Stidham refused to blame the weather even though the field looked like a frozen war zone. He refused to point fingers at coaches even though everyone knew that 4th down decision changed the entire game. And he refused to bring up the injuries that crippled Denver all season. Instead, he apologized directly to Broncos fans, saying he didn't execute well enough, a move that sent social media into a meltdown instantly. As sources claim, players in the locker room were stunned that Stidham took the full weight of the loss on his shoulders when most of the squad felt like the game was lost on the sideline before it was lost on the field. Fans weren't having it either. Comment sections exploded with frustration, calling the apology too safe, too soft, and too polished, especially with so much chaos surrounding the coaching decisions. But Stidham wasn't taking the bait. He stayed away from any headline quotes, didn't throw shade at anybody, and held himself accountable in a way that made critics argue whether he was showing maturity or just avoiding the real problem.
I don't think the weather can be used as an excuse here. The reason the Broncos lost this game today is because Sean Payton lost this game. Got greedy early in the game, decided to go for it on 4th and 1 instead of taking the points when it was perfect conditions, and then 2 missed field goals by Will Lutz, and that's the story of it. The margin for error in these games are so small. You cannot afford to miss field goals. You cannot afford to not get first downs, and you cannot afford to call 8 screen passes that just don't get.
The wild part is how quickly the clip went viral. Within an hour, analysts were dissecting every word, slow motion, replaying every facial expression, and debating whether his silence on the 4th down decision meant he disagreed with it or supported it. As sources claim, insiders said Stidham had every right to call out the play call but chose not to, out of respect for the locker room. That choice only added fuel to the fire because fans were looking for answers, not diplomacy. The city wanted raw emotions, not structured professionalism after the season died in the snow, and Stidham became the target of that frustration. Meanwhile, the national media flipped the story into something even bigger. Debate shows claimed Stidham's response revealed deeper tension between him and Sean Payton. Others argued that Stidham's quiet tone confirmed that Denver missed Bo Nix more than anyone wanted to admit. As sources claim, some players reportedly told friends that Nix would have handled the blizzard differently because of his dual-threat skill set, igniting even more debate across social media. Suddenly, Stidham wasn't just answering for a loss, he was answering for the entire quarterback room. His apology became a symbol of the loss itself. Clean, controlled, polite, and painful. It triggered a firestorm because fans didn't want calmness. They wanted someone to break down what went wrong. Instead, Stidham stood there like a soldier taking all the blame while refusing to spill any inside info, and that silence became the loudest part of the entire night. In the hours after the AFC Championship, the entire NFL world locked onto one moment: Sean Payton's decision to kick a field goal in a blizzard instead of trusting his offense on 4th and 3.
I don't think the weather can be used as an excuse here. The reason the Broncos lost this game today is because Sean Payton lost this game. Got greedy early in the game, decided to go for it on 4th and 1 instead of taking the points when it was perfect conditions, and then 2 missed field goals by Will Lutz, and that's the story of it. The margin for error in these games are so small.
That single call transformed Denver from a potential Super Bowl team into a fan base drowning in frustration. As sources claim, Payton had spent the entire week preaching aggression, confidence, and finishing drives, making the conservative call feel completely out of character and even more shocking in real time. The stadium felt the momentum shift instantly, sensing the opportunity slipping away before the game even ended. The conditions alone made the decision questionable. Visibility was terrible, the kicking surface was unstable, and wind gusts were slicing horizontally across the field like ice blades. As sources claim, Denver's kicking staff told reporters afterward that warm-up kicks were sliding left and right, and the footing was so bad that even standing still felt risky. Despite all that, Payton sent the kicker out, and the miss became one of the coldest gut punches in team history. Fans said it reminded them of past heartbreak moments that defined decades of pain, and this one instantly joined the list. Inside the locker room, the mood reportedly shifted after the decision. Several offensive players were prepared to go for it, believing the momentum was leaning their way after a strong drive. But when the special teams unit jogged onto the field, confusion hit the sideline. As sources claim, one veteran lineman told reporters the offense felt deflated after the call, and that emotional dip carried into the next defensive series where New England drained the clock and snatched the game away. It wasn't just a tactical mistake, it was a psychological blow. Payton stood by his decision in the post-game interviews, saying the numbers supported the field goal attempt, but the city wasn't buying it. Fans demanded answers because the analytics didn't match the weather conditions, and the weather didn't match the vibe of the game. Denver needed momentum, needed belief, needed that one moment of aggression to flip everything, and instead walked away with the league's most criticized kick of the year. Adding to the chaos came the reports that Bo Nix, who missed the game due to injury, was yelling from the sideline for the offense to go for it. As sources claim, Nix repeatedly motioned toward the field in frustration as the kicking unit lined up, suggesting that even the backup quarterback understood how big the moment was.
There's always regrets, you know. Yeah, I mean, look, I felt like, you know, here we are, 4th and 1. We felt close enough that, and it's also a call you make based on the team you're playing and how what you're watching on the other side of the ball. So yeah, there'll always be second thoughts.
Fans latched onto that detail instantly, saying the fire they wanted was coming from the guy who couldn't even play. The 4th down decision didn't just cost Denver points. It cost momentum, confidence, identity, and the entire vibe of a Super Bowl run. And when the kick missed, everyone in the building felt the season freeze over in real time. The deeper analysts looked into the game, the clearer it became that Denver wasn't just fighting New England, they were fighting injuries, weather, and chaos all at once. The Broncos walked into the AFC Championship already beat up, missing key players from the offensive line to skill positions, and the blizzard turned every weakness into a disaster waiting to happen. As sources claim, the Broncos came into the game missing 3 of their fastest players on offense, which destroyed their ability to stretch the field once the snow made the ground slippery and unpredictable. The injuries hit even harder when the run game started collapsing. Without a full-strength backfield, Denver couldn't punch the ball between the tackles the way the blizzard demanded. New England, meanwhile, leaned on a heavy run package that bulldozed through the snow. They didn't care about style. They cared about possession, time control, and wearing down the Broncos' defense snap by snap. By the second half, Denver defenders were slipping on cuts, grabbing at air, and showing clear signs of fatigue from trying to chase Drake May all night long. But the turning point came when Denver's star receiver rolled his ankle on a snowy sideline route early in the 3rd quarter. Without his speed, the offense lost its deep threat and had to rely on short yardage plays, which New England jumped on instantly. As sources claim, the Patriots' defense switched to tight man coverage, daring Denver to beat them with power instead of space, and the Broncos couldn't respond. Every short throw looked dangerous, every run felt slow, and every drive crumbled under the weight of missed opportunities. The snow also created chaos with timing routes. Stidham had multiple throws where the receivers slipped mid-break, causing passes to float into empty space. Fans blamed Stidham, but analysts pointed out that the receivers were losing traction on every other snap, making clean routes impossible. The blizzard put Denver in a chokehold and forced them to play slow, predictable football, exactly what New England wanted. The defense did everything it could, but even that unit cracked late in the game. Drake May used his legs to escape 3rd downs that should have ended drives, and each conversion took another chunk of life out of Denver's chances. The Patriots' offensive line played like a snowplow crew, clearing the way for May, while the Broncos struggled to maintain footing on pass rush attempts. As sources claim, several players said after the game that the snow made their cleats useless, forcing them to react instead of attack. The injuries, the blizzard, and the missed opportunities all collided into one crushing reality. Denver lost control of the game long before the scoreboard told the story. It wasn't one mistake, one player, or one moment. It was a slow bleed that turned into heartbreak in a snowstorm. When the final score hit 10-7, the Broncos didn't just lose a game. They lost a chance to rewrite their entire franchise history. This was supposed to be the season where Denver returned to the big stage, where the new quarterback room created a spark, where the defense carried the city back to glory. Instead, the AFC Championship became a cold reminder of everything that went wrong, everything the team didn't adjust to, and everything the fans will replay in their heads for years to come. As sources claim, the locker room after the game was silent. Not angry, not chaotic, just heartbreakingly silent. The biggest frustration came from how small the margins were. One 4th down call, one kick in a blizzard, one slip on a route, one broken tackle on 3rd down. Denver didn't get blown out. They got edged out by inches, and that pain always cuts deeper. Fans started comparing the loss to past Denver heartbreaks, saying this one might be worse because the team had the pieces, had the momentum, had the hunger, and still let it fall through their fingers in the snow. Then came the reports that shook the league. As sources claim, tension quietly started brewing between veterans on offense and the coaching staff over how predictable the game plan became once the blizzard took over. Many felt the team didn't fully prepare for extreme weather, while New England built their entire plan on controlling the storm. Critics pointed out that Vrabel had coached in multiple snow-heavy games during his Tennessee years, giving him experience that Peyton didn't lean into enough. That difference in preparation became a major storyline after the loss. Drake May's performance only made things worse for Denver. His mobility, leadership, and calmness in the storm highlighted everything the Broncos were missing without Bo Nix. As sources claim, some opposing players privately said May was built for the blizzard, while Denver looked stuck playing the wrong style for the conditions. That comparison stung fans even harder, especially with New England heading to its 12th Super Bowl appearance, a number that sounds unreal, but speaks to a dynasty that refuses to die. As the days passed, the narrative turned toward the future, and how this loss will shape everything the Broncos do next. From quarterback decisions to coaching strategies to off-season roster upgrades, the AFC Championship exposed weaknesses that can't be ignored anymore. The team needs more speed, more durability, more versatility, and a system that doesn't collapse when the weather gets violent. It's a wake-up call the franchise didn't want, but one they desperately needed. The blizzard may fade, the season may end, but the memory of this loss won't go anywhere. It will sit with the fan base, shape the offseason, and fuel the next run. And for everyone watching this breakdown, make sure to like and subscribe to keep the momentum rolling for more football deep dives, reactions, and stories that expose everything happening behind the scenes.